In the last video, we got all the back end ready for this custom properties page, and now we just have to link up, hopefully, all the UI, and it should be nice and straightforward. So the first thing we're going to start with is going top to bottom of this page, basically, and bind things where we can, and then delete elements we're not going to use, and start recreating the UI. So starting at the top, we already did the custom properties, the text below it, the new custom property job, and that's about as far as we got. You can see we're binding here to new print item. So the first thing we need to do is change this to custom properties. And we should be able to just really search for the word print. And if we just hide the preview and then look through, we should almost be able to just replace everywhere we see the word print with custom properties based on how we named things when we did this. So if we start with that, it should be nice and straightforward. You can see this is missing. Delete custom properties item command. So have we missed one? That should be in the view model. The actions page view model rather. And yeah, you can see down here we've got the printer item in the middle of print settings. That's probably why we missed it. So if we cut the print items one up and put it to here, and then I can guess we are missing this in the custom properties. So in custom properties we had fetch, add, cancel. Now we've got delete from UI, but yeah, we don't have the delete command. We missed that. So we will paste that in. Change this to delete custom properties item. Change this, this, this. And then that wants to be renamed. It's missing the list to match the other. And we should then have the property to bind to. So now we go back to searching for the word print. Scroll down and change these again to custom properties. But this will be the screen that pops up when there's nothing. So this will be custom properties or custom property actions. It can be used to update, delete, and manipulate custom properties with advanced rules. To get started, create a new custom properties action. New custom properties action. Replace this, this, and then we're down here now into the general column. This is again custom properties job. General settings are still right. This would be the selected custom properties list item, and they've got the same name, so job name and description will still bind. This will go, and this will just have a row of 0, 1, 2, and auto, so 0, 1, 2, and then we don't even need that at all. And we might want the 15 at the end just to give a space for below padding. After that, we don't need the print settings. We're going to change all this, all the list box, so we delete all of that. That clears that side, and then we can delete all the other side as well. So we'll leave the grid in, but we'll delete everything inside the grid, and that gets us to a blank page. So I think we're up to where we need to be. This we probably want to rename. That won't be drawing column. That will be question mark column at the minute until we fill it out. And then this print list column is the custom properties list column. And let's see if we can run and create properties with this now. So go to actions, custom properties. We have this new window now with the text that's right. Both of these buttons should do the same thing, but you notice we've called one a job and one an action. So we need to make them the same. That's an action. So does that mean when we delete this? No, with both called actions there. So what we've done is we've named this one wrong. It should be new custom properties action, not job. So this wants to be action. And then if we click it, you can see we've got a new one, but selecting it's doing nothing. So this should now be disappearing, and it's not, even though we have an item. And that detection of change happens in the actions page view, I believe it is. Now we go on tab changed. And there we go. We're missing it from here now. So we need to remember to add the views in here to bind them to the correct thing, so that when we do a view model, we call this refresh actions page. And then here, then this will get fired. Otherwise, this was never getting fired, which means in this command, this hook-on collection change was never getting fired, which means that it never invoked the property change notification for the has list items change, so then the view doesn't change. So with that done now, let's go back to custom properties, make a new one. There we go. Now we see a new job. We should see the save button, and we're not seeing the save button. So I see the delete works, which it does, but there's no save button. Did I delete the save button? I think I did. Yes, we did. So in the page here, we deleted the actual buttons that were in here. So if we go to the Actions tab print view, scroll down. So inside of here, even though we haven't kept the elements, we still need this stack panel here with the buttons in. So we'll copy and paste that back in for now. And then same thing, wherever there's a print, change to custom properties. So that would include these two commands as well. Now let's see if we can save and delete. Actions, custom properties, new. There we go. So we've got a save button. Click save. And null constraints. So the data model has nulls. We did this exact same thing the last time. And that will be making sure both the data model has no null, as well as the view model. So in the print models, we set all these defaults up for blank strings. We need to do that in here as well. So you can see we started doing it. And then when we added new properties, we just didn't go back and do it. So let's add these to any string we see. Like so. And then the same for the view model, because it's only going to crash just the same when the view model converts it to a data model. So inside of view model, inside of here, we need to do the same thing. So again, we had them here, and then we stopped doing them here. And that should be it. So now can we save? Go to Actions, Custom Properties, New, type something in, save, tab out, tab in. It's still there. So let's check the database. And then here you can see there's the new property. So all the code's working, which we should hope so, because this is literally a copy and paste of the print that we did all the work on. Now if we delete, I presume the delete will work. Tab in, out. Yeah, there we go. So we now have a working UI, and what we need to do is populate this with the other properties now. So let's go back to here and let's just add one so this actually works. I wonder if we can do it in the UI. Yes, we can. So now in here, we want to start fleshing out some more UI. So outside of this grid, carrying on in the middle column, we want to now go here. And we'll start with another label. This will be grid.row, and it'll be 6 because we have the auto, then margin, auto margin. So it goes 0, 2, 4, and this one's 6. We want it to be a header, so that'll be the H2 header. And the content, we'll call this one rule action. And now inside of here, we need to explain what that is. So we'll do a text block. Grid.row is now 8. The text will be select the type of action and then the appropriate fields for that type. We need some text wrapping on there as well. And then after that, we're going to have a whole list of boxes. So if we come into batch process and take a look, if we go to custom properties, get into where we need to be, we're going to have these rules here. So we're going to have this as a drop down, I think, because we're going to be tight on space. And then we need all these fields here. So the type, the field name, the value rule, the change to, the copy from and to, basically all those fields. So this is what the rule action is going to be, this area here. So to begin with, we'll make a new grid and we'll set it to the grid dot row is 10. If we have that many items in the grid, I'm not sure. And then we want the same column definitions as this one above here. And then the row definitions, this is going to be slightly different. So instead of doing auto and then a margin and then auto and then a margin, because we're going to be hiding and showing elements in this, if we put margins between the elements, when we hide them, we're going to have multiple margins all stacking up. So we'll leave the margins out and we'll do it the conventional way. And we'll just put a bunch of autos in. So I don't know how many we need for now. I'll just paste a load in. And then what we want to do is, let's start with a label. We'll have the grid.row is 0, and this is going to add up in ones this time. And the grid.column is 0, just for good measure. Padding 0. Vertical align center, because the text boxes and combo boxes are larger. And then finally, the content can be, in this case, this will be the rule type, the first thing. You can see we have it there. This margin's a bit big between these two, so I will reduce that on, I guess here maybe, padding 0, margin 0. So we'll do margin 0 minus 10, 0, 0. Yep, that's right. And then in here now, the first one, we're going to do a combo box for the action. It's going to be grid dot row 0, grid dot column 1, and that will move us over to this side. Well, the horizontal line stretch so it fills the remaining space, and we haven't done row definitions. And for column column is going to be 2, not 1. We've got the padding between the grid. There we go. We've got the drop down we need. And then we're going to have to put the margins on every one. So I'm going to put a top and bottom margin of 5 on every element so that it's going to naturally space down. And we only need to put them on 1 out of the 2 in the row. So the label won't need it because the combo box has got it. So we just have to remember on each of the text boxes or combo boxes, put the margin. And then now we have the margin, we will put the selected item in this case. And that will be binding to the selected custom properties item, and this will be the rule type. You can see there it's got the unknown, and now for the drop down, so we can select. We will need the items source, and this can be bound. And actually, I don't think we didn't make a drop down because this is an enum, so the rule types are an enum here, so we need to make a property. And to be honest, I'm going to get rid of unknown because it's not really a valid thing to have and to deal with in this instance. I think if they don't specify, add can be the default. So we're actually going to remove that unknown. And then because we're binding to a item source, when the data binding changes, so when you make a new item and there's a temporarily changeover, and this can be null at the minute, the selected properties items list. If we bind to, say, selected properties items list dot rule type options, we're going to get some exceptions thrown because as it changes over and this hits null, this binding on the item source is null, and then the combo box will throw an error. So we'll probably see that when we come to the field type because they are actually part of the view model at the minute. So we have field type options, I think it's called. So these are part of the view model. You'll see what I mean when we come to that. But for this one, what we're going to do is put the options for rule types into the actual actions page view model. So we're going to come up to the actions page view model. We will reduce all these a moment. And what we want is in the members custom properties, we'll put them here. And all we want to do is make a list of these enums. So that's pretty simple. We'll just do a public custom properties rule type. In fact, it will be an observable collection. Of that type. And it's going to be custom properties rule types. This can just be a simple getter. We need to make a new observable collection, and in there we can just do the enum dot get values, and it can be custom property rule type. And that should just get us a list of every value that's inside of this type. And then with that done now on the item source, we combine that to the custom properties rule types. And if I haven't done anything wrong there, then I think this will work and give us a drop down. So actions, custom, there we go. So we've got a drop down, but notice the save button isn't appearing. So as we're changing this, oh, that's now not going to go anywhere. Let's cancel. Oh, and the cancel doesn't disappear either. So we've got two bugs now. Let's just delete that again. Add, save. So yeah, this changing for 1 should be updating, and it's not. And when we cancel, it's not restoring, but that might be linked to the same issue that this isn't triggering when we cancel. So let's go to the view model. It's going to be in. Oh yeah, we didn't do this anywhere. The has changed. We need to copy and paste this to everywhere that triggers a has changed. So is new shouldn't trigger because it's obviously a new item that can't change. It's always true. But the rule type needs it, and then all the other things do. So the filter needs it, custom properties need it. I think the only thing that won't need it is this field type options here, because it's obviously an options. It's not to do with the savable data. All the other things need it though. So that's that. So let's see if that fixes both issues. The fact that the cancel doesn't work. So let's just delete these a minute. Create them again, save. So now if we type and delete, there we go. So that's now going when you get back to normal. And if we change this, there we go. That's changing as well. Save, tab in, tab out. Yes, that's fixed that. So now we have one drop down here. Let's make 2 items so we can tab between. Save that one. Make this one an update and say update. Make this one an add. Save. So there we go. We can tab between the 2 and check it's all working. So next up in this list now, we need all of those elements we mentioned. So the field name, field type, and then we need to hide and show them when we want. So let's just hide everything out of the way. So let's fill out all this now. And the first item will be field name. So in fact, let's just copy and paste this. And then change this to row 1, row 1. Rule type is now going to be field name. And then in here, it's going to be field name. And this is going to be a text box, not a drop down. So this will actually change slightly. This will be text. And then if we check that out, we now have a box here. We can copy and paste this and do all the other properties in the same way. And that's all them added. So we've done the field name, and it binds to field name, field type, binds to field type, and field type options inside the selected element. The change to name, the value rule, the copy from, and the copy to field. So if you do all them, we should end up with a big list like this. I don't think that field type's working by the looks of it. There's nothing in there. So let's just run this and see. So we go to actions, custom properties, and you can see the field type has a drop down, but it's nullable as well. So at the start, it can be nothing and not match. That's part of the problem. If we save, save's okay. But you can see this drop down is not how we want it. And that's part of this problem with the binding I mentioned. It's kind of throwing when you're tapping between jobs and then these new ones are not picking up. So let's just update the field type options to the same way that we did the custom property rule types. What we'll do is delete the selected item and do custom properties field type options, or we'll just do field types. And then we'll go into the custom properties. We have field type options here. We'll just cut this out. We'll move it to the top level, and then we'll paste it in here. We want it to be public, and let's change this from a string to an enum as well. We've seen how to do them both ways, and I think the enum works better in this instance. So this will be field types. And then in here, we'll do the types we had, which was text. I know was one of them. There we go. So we'll do this list. We'll cut that out. That's not needed now. That's not needed there now. And back in the top of here we are. This will be a new, and then we'll just paste that inside, and that will now be a custom properties. Oh, we haven't renamed it yet. Custom properties field types. And then actually, yeah, we don't want that, do we? We don't want the string. We want this to be text, number, date, and yes and no. And this just helps with when we're doing switch statements as well and switching on things. Instead of it being a string that you've got to parse, you're dealing with an enum, which is better for switching. So this will be field types, and it will actually be the same as this. It won't be a new list like this. And then let's just build to find where the errors are. This one is custom properties. Oh, I didn't put custom properties in front. Custom properties field type options. And now we just called that one types as well, so it's actually changed that to types, not type options. Just try to keep the naming consistent. And then let's see if that fixes the field types. Custom properties, and you can still see they are blank, but that is maybe because they've been made before. Nope, so there's still a problem here. And the issue will be we didn't actually change this to the custom property field types type. We left it as a string. And then the data model is going to need the same thing if it's not already, which it isn't. So we're going to have to delete and remake the database as well. Now we've changed that property. So let's just do that. And now hopefully, now we've got a new database, click new, there we go. So now the text is filled in, the add is filled in. So we'll do add, let's remake these again. Add, that's got a number, make another one, update, and we'll make that update and a date. So all that's working good now. So next up, we need to hide and show these fields. So when we select, say, clear, none of these need to be visible because none of them are relevant. We're just deleting a property. We're clearing the value, basically. When you've got add, so the change name isn't on there, and you get the idea. So we're going to need a bunch of properties for every visible element in the view model that we need to toggle the visibility for. So if we looked through here and scrolled up, the set custom property, the set specific property, so the field type, field name, value rule, change to name, all these are going to need a visibility boolean as well. So let's see how we do it for the field type. So we have field type here, and then below it, what I'm going to do is do a public boolean field type is visible. And we're going to make that so it basically checks if the rule type, which is that enum, is custom properties rule type. And that actually wants to be custom properties. Otherwise, we've got the wrong naming convention again. Rule type, and basically we want to show this when it is an add. So the field type is relevant if we're adding or updating. Otherwise, it's not relevant. So it will be visible if it's adding or updating. Considering this class is also serialized, if you noticed here we did like JSON ignore and it has changed, we don't want that to be part of the restoring setting because it's a getter only. So we'll also put that on here to ignore it when we serialize and deserialize. It's purely a visibility check. We then just want to do that for all of the other ones. So field name needs one, and this will be field name is visible. And this time the logic will be, this should be visible, the field name on everything except clear. So we can say is not, and then clear, and that's it. And then we'll just go ahead and do this logic for all of the other fields. And that's all of them added. So we've got the field name is visible when it's not clear. The value rule is visible when it's add or update. The change name to is only visible if it's updating. The copy and the other copy are only visible if it's a copy type. So those properties now, oh, one thing we've obviously forgot is when we change the rule type here, we need to fire off a change for all of those is visibles. So when it's changed to here, we need to do it for all of them fields. So every time we change the drop down, it's going to reevaluate all of those getters that we had. Now we can bind to those properties is visible to make the view visible or not. So that should be fairly simple. And this is why we split this into rows only, and we didn't do a row, then a padding, then a row, then a padding, because as we hide these elements, the padding would always be visible. So what we need to do is find each one. So rule type is always visible. Field name here though, we now want to say on the field name is visible binding to field selected property field name is visible. Copy and paste that to the text box and then just add that to all of these. And that's all those in. So we now have the correct visibility set on each one. So change name, value rule, the copies, and the field names. So if we run this now, as we change between those rule types, only the appropriate boxes should be visible. So let's take a look. Custom properties, add, we have the name, the type, and the value, which is correct. Remove, we have the name. Now, the type I'm not sure is relevant here. And yeah, the type shouldn't be visible. So when we're deleting, we just want the name. So we've made a mistake there somewhere. Yeah, I didn't put the is visible. Oh, I've actually missed it completely. So we need an is visible here. Field type, that's why. Let's try that again. So over to custom properties, add shows the 3. Remove just shows the name to remove. Update shows the name that we want, the value we want to update the name to, what we want to update the name itself, and if we want to change the type. Copy has the name, the configuration we're pulling from, and the field we're copying it over to, and clear should have none. So that's all good now. So that's how we do the visibility and changing visibility when we're changing properties, and we've got this section all done. And then the last thing to do on the custom properties page will be to add basically just these checkboxes and a text field here. So all we need is a big list of checkboxes on the other side and a checkbox really that says all configurations or blank. So let's just do that now. That's nice and simple. We will have it in here. So this is going to be, we'll call this configuration column. We've got the buttons. And let's also just go back up and see how many we had. 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just delete those extras. We don't need them. And now in here, we just want a bunch of text boxes. So we'll need the header again. So we'll go to here, copy this header, paste it in here. Row 0. This has got padding This is the top row. Next row down. And this will be configuration. And then we'll just say, set the specific options on configuring how the custom property rule is applied. Then we have the button, and then in between that now, we can put the, I guess, a stack panel, because they're just all a bunch of combo boxes with a spacing of, say, start with 10. And then we'll just do in here a checkbox, content, and the first one is set custom properties. And we will want this stack panel to be in grid row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we just copy and paste all of these, update all the values. And now the way this one wants to work is this wants to really say set configuration specific properties. And then inside, if we've checked that, we want a text box where the text can be bound to the configuration. I don't even know what it is actually. It'd be selected custom properties and set named properties. That's the one. But we only want to set this field or make this field visible when this is checked. So we could do is visible binding selected custom properties dot set all configuration properties, and we want that to be visible when it's checked. So now if we check that, it needs to be updated. And of course, it's because we haven't actually bound anything yet. So that makes sense. So now we just need to do the checked or is checked binding to each element. So this will be selected custom properties dot set custom property. And we need to do the binding for all of them. And that's all of them bound. Let's just also rename this. So instead of it saying set all configuration properties, it's actually set configuration properties. And it's all based on whether we are actually going to enter anything into this filter. So this will actually be set configuration properties filter. And that makes a bit more sense. Running that now, hopefully, we have a box that appears. There we go. And this we might want to show filter list. So we can have a filter, or we might simply explain this as part of the tutorials. Field name, we'll just type in what things are, so we should be able to see them and we know if they're working or not. So this has got everything. Oh, actually description can't have enter in as well, which we want in that description box. That's got everything checked and test in there. So let's save, tab out, tab in. Yep, so everything saves. Let's just fix that description box. Description, text box, accepts returns true. And we probably need to fix that on the other page as well. That will be in tab print view, description. So it's going to be this text box here. And now in here, yep, we can now put a space there. In here, yep, let's fix that. So I think that is all of the UI done for the custom properties page. So you can see how much quicker that was than the print page. Now everything's in place. We've just literally made an entire new page, fully done, and all working in about 2 hours. So that's pretty good.